Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. JD PicKell from On3 Sports with us in 15 minutes. Got some thoughts on LSU basketball schedule at the top of hour number 2. We'll get back to a segment we had last year, SEC Power Rankings at 2:30. Still a lot to get to here on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to talk some ball today.
We will talk a little bit of ball. Brian Kelly talked a little bit of ball earlier today on the SEC teleconference. He leads off the SEC teleconference, and he touched on a number of different things. The first clip we're going to go to, Casey, is number 6, but he touched on a lot of topics: offensive line, playing FCS schools, the Southern game, Joe Fouché suspension, Jeray Jenkins, a lot. But the one that I wanted to talk about and kind of start our conversation today is talking about how the tempo that LSU went to in the second half may help the offense.
There's no doubt that, tempo helped us. I think that we began to kind of exert ourselves a little bit and wore down Florida State late. I just think we have to start faster. I think, and it's a combination of finishing off drives, playing with tempo, and just executing at a higher level. I think if we do that, we're going to be in pretty good shape. What
are your thoughts on moving this offense more quickly?
Yeah, it's kind of the same conversation we have about Tennessee. It's a delicate dance you're doing with that because, at the same time, you want your offense to have explosive plays. You want the defense to be on their heels. But, looking at the defense, especially with Mason Smith being out and not really knowing and trusting 2 linebackers that you trust to be in the game for more than 2 series at a time, you got to kind of figure out where that happy medium is, whether you're, keeping your offense out there trying to score as quick as possible and also trying to save your defense a little bit. But, I did see that. I think Jaden was a lot more comfortable with the tempo. He was getting the ball out a lot quicker, and the offense just to seem to have a lot more rhythm. So I think they're going to have to figure out where that is because I don't want them to just go every single series, 100 miles per hour. I just don't think, for the long-term success of the team, that'll be good for them.
So what's the benefit of going tempo? Well, one, you keep the defense on their heels in 2 perspectives. They can't substitute as freely as they want to. We learned that from Hugh Freeze and Nick Saban, and Hugh Freeze keeping Nick Saban's, from substituting and keeping those guys out there. They're out there longer, and they get a little bit more tired. Plus, it's more difficult as a defensive coordinator, defensive play caller, as a defensive unit to be as complex as you want to be with moving guys around and making different calls and making sure your blitzes are in. You got to make sure everybody's lined up before you start telling them to do creative things. So you limit what the defense can do from that perspective. That's obviously a positive. 2, you can get into a little bit of a rhythm. Maybe the defense gets tired because they're continuing to have to run play after play after play, and that may help your offensive line if you've got a bunch of 320-pound defensive linemen who have played 8 snaps in a row without really having a break and not coming off the field. Maybe they're a little bit more tired. So there are a lot of reasons to do it. The question is, does it trump the reasons not to do it? And LSU, there are some reasons not to. One, as if you were listening to Charlie's show recently, he was reading right off my notebook page from this morning. They haven't proven at all that they can run the football. Mm-hmm. So if you can't run the ball and you go tempo and you end up in, 3rd and 9 and you punt and you've just run 3 plays in a total of 35 seconds, that ain't great. Second, if you go out there and you don't think you can run the ball, so you pass it more often and you have some issues with the pass game, whether it's drops or incompletions, and then you punt quickly and you've only run 28 seconds off the game clock, that's not good for your defense either. Tempo is at its best when your offense is very efficient and clicks. If you've got, what Tennessee's doing right now, or you've got what Chip Kelly's Oregon teams were doing, or if you got what LSU had in 2019, where it's just clicking and moving and the defense is on their heels and they can't stop you and you're just rolling. Going fast for the sake of going fast, if you don't execute it, is not great. And the question is, can they execute? It looked like they could in the second half, but we'll probably not find out until next week.
Yeah, you're not going to learn much this week against Southern. I think this is really just getting the order of operations back down. There's some sloppy things that you want to fix. Definitely special teams. You want to get the special teams going in the right direction. That's going to be so big once you get in the SEC play. So I think the little things like that. But I think until you play Mississippi State, then you can kind of start working on how much you want to mix that tempo in there.
So I think you're going to see tempo. I think Jaden Daniels is pretty comfortable in tempo, and I think they're going to work in the short passing game and go fast. I think that's something they're going to try to do. Problem is, if a defense bows up and stops you a few times, you could really get into a hole. That's a whole different discussion for a different day. But I do think you're going to see it against Southern. I think it's going to be effective against Southern. I think they'll gain a little confidence against Southern, and then we'll see if it carries over to the next week when you start conference play. Speaking of confidence, you can't imagine that Malik Neighbors has a ton after 2 drop punts over the weekend on Sunday. Question was asked today, what are you going to do back there?
I think we all know what we want to see, and that's, obviously fielding the ball cleanly. We thought we saw that, but, we've added some additional drills where, we have some distractions in front of the punter, obviously forcing him to get his eyes trained properly. So, Malik's going to stay back there and work some. We're not going to fire him from his duties. He's got to continue to work there. And we've added, obviously, Sage Ryan's been back there. He'll continue to work back there. And we've got a couple of young players that are going to get some work as well and see where that takes us through the week.
This is the correct move. I think if this allows all your doors to be open. If you allow Malik Neighbors to go back out there, there's still a possibility that he's the guy you determined was the best at this. Mm-hmm. You had fall camp and you said, this is the best guy we've got. For him to have an opportunity to be that guy, he's got to go back out there this week. He drops another one, that's it. But you close the door on it, basically, if you, quote-unquote, fire him from his position, as he said here. So I think this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think sometimes you overlook things that you lose from the year before, and I think Trey Palmer was a big piece of this team's return game, a guy that you knew back there week in, week out had big play potential, and you lose that guy, so now you got to scramble to find someone that can be even remotely close to what Trey brought back there. And then obviously, they felt like that was Malik, and so we talked about it the other day that you could just go that route of fire everybody and just drill the confidence out of everyone in that locker room. But I think sticking with Malik is going to give that kid a world of confidence that he can go out there and make a big play, and I think he'll make one this year. And I'm glad Coach Kelly kind of stuck with him and rolled it out with him.
And we'll see if Southern kicks to him or is able to kick it deep enough so that he can return. That remains to be seen. But I think telling a kid that's it at this point is too early in the game. This is I want to be careful with this, but you're building a program here, basically from the ground up. We were at the ground floor. You're building a program. I think allowing things to happen organically and allowing some mistakes is okay at this stage of the program development. Again, I realize what I'm saying, and I'm not saying go out there, I don't care if you win or lose, just try hard. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is take some risks and try to help guys develop towards a championship level football team. This one right now doesn't feel like a championship level football team. Mm-hmm. So, trying to pull every single lever you can possibly find to find any advantage to try to make sure you win every game is not necessarily where I am right now looking at this thing big picture. I think Malik Neighbors is a heck of a talent, and I think benching him after one game is detrimental to his development in your program. That's as clear as I can say it.
No, I think Malik's a big part of the offense. Obviously, he earned that spot as a returner. They love what he can do when the ball's in his hands. And to me, next year, he's going to be even a bigger part of this team. So you kill his confidence now. I think we know the transfer portal, it's right there. You don't want to just be running kids off just because, they had one bad game or they dropped a couple punts. I think Malik's too big in the future of this team this season, also for next year as well. So I think Coach Kelly knows that. You have to build this thing day by day. They have to hear his voice day by day. And, as this thing kind of starts working out, you win some games. And that's like, okay, that's what he was talking about. Okay, this is why we're doing this. And, as you kind of build this thing, you can get players in your program that fit exactly what you're trying to do. And I think Malik's going to be one of those kids.
I think if you wanted to exaggerate my point, you could say, who cares if you win or lose? Just put all the young guys in there and let them grow up. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when we approach decisions with this current football team, especially in September, let's look at a big picture here. Let's look at the bigger picture as opposed to the next play, because this program has championship aspirations. You've got to build towards it. And once again, cutting a guy's knees out from under him because he made a couple of mistakes, I think is detrimental to the big picture. It may help you against Southern because he may drop another one because he's thinking about it. But that's not the decision that I want made right now where this program is. So that was good news to hear from Brian Kelly this morning on the SEC teleconference. We're going to talk a little bit later at 1:30 about the LSU offensive line. Brian Kelly had some comments on it, and then we're going to kind of kick around some things that we saw in the game and some things that we might see moving forward with this offensive line group. So that's coming up at 1:30. And then again, as I mentioned, LSU basketball schedule release. Got a couple thoughts for the second hour as well. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, J.D. PicKell of On3 covers college football nationally. Going to get his thoughts on the weekend that was. Preview the upcoming weekend, Texas and Alabama, as well as some other big games as well. So don't go anywhere. It's a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who are born
in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye and Warren Easton kick off at 7, immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Fired up that every Wednesday moving forward at 1:15 we'll be joined by JD PicKell, he of the Hard Count of On 3 Sports. He joins us now. JD, how are you?
Man, I'm fired up to be on every Wednesday with you. Thanks for having me on, and excited for the football season that is already very much upon us.
Yeah, a little of the excitement got let out of the balloon down here in South Louisiana on Sunday. Your thoughts as you watch Florida State and LSU, both the entirety of the game and then what happened there at the end?
You know, it's going to be okay. Like, is it ideal to lose the game the way you did your first game under Brian Kelly and to have so many things not break your way and all that? Like, definitely not. But are they going to be fine long run? 100%. And that's why Brian Kelly is there. And I think we spoke about this at one point in time, but Brian Kelly is there to fix the operation. And now once it's fixed and heading in the right direction and sort of shored up, they always tell you once you fix a computer or pipes, whatever it is, they say, okay, now let it run for a little bit. Let it run, let everything sort of get warmed up. That's what I think this season is. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be a bowl team. I mean, heck, LSU felt like shot themselves in the foot multiple times. Didn't even get the ball to their best player that frequently and still had a chance to win the game at the very end there. So, or at least send it to overtime. So ultimately, not overly concerned. Is it fun? No, but the sky is definitely not falling in Baton Rouge. They'll be fine.
Your thoughts watching Jaden Daniels in his 4 quarters of action?
Gosh, dynamic, right? So much that he does with his legs, and it kind of makes sense that he is the guy after seeing what they have up front and just how frequently he was pressured. And a lot of that's a credit to Florida State, but it's a brand new offensive line, obviously. And so his legs, I think, really kept him in the game at a lot of points. I would have liked to see them help him more in the pass game. I think being able to get some quick stuff to Butte would have done a lot for just the offense as a whole. I mean, he needs to be more involved, case in point. But as a whole, you know, a lot to build off of. They're not going to play Florida State every single week. Was encouraged to see the way that he took care of the ball for the most part.
What were your thoughts on Matt House and that LSU defense? Obviously, really tough to get off the field on 3rd down against Florida State.
I think it's still developing. I think it's still a work in progress in a lot of ways. Again, I'm not necessarily writing it in, but it's week one. It's week one for everybody. I think they'll be fine long term. Was encouraged by how they played down the stretch. I mean, they're obviously losing, you know, a big D tackle in Mason Smith. Having that presence gone early in the game is a huge loss. So they're still sort of, I think, adjusting as a whole, but I think they'll be fine in the long run. I think week one's just so tough because you only have that one game of sample size, and we all want to, you know, draw conclusions from what we saw. But I mean, the best example of a week one head fake, if you will, to me is Auburn in 2013. I mean, they had Washington State come to Jordan Hare, and they only beat them by a touchdown. Nick Marshall threw for 99 yards, and then Auburn played for a national title that year. So week one can only put so much stock in it, but I think overall the defense will improve as the year goes on.
I don't want to put too much stock into week one, but I'm going to put some stock into Georgia. They surprised you on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Georgia, I think you can make an argument they were the most impressive team in the country. And some of that's maybe, hey, were we giving Oregon too much credit? I know they're not even ranked in the AP this week, but as a whole, for them to win the way they did was impressive because their leading rusher had 8 carries. Like, usually you think of Georgia being this physical team that's going to dominate you, and they dominated you. They were still physical, but they didn't even really try to run that ball. Stetson Bennett looked super in control, super in command, looked like the 47-year senior that he is at Georgia. And so I think if he can continue to progress, if he still has more room to get better, I kind of said before the year, hey, I think we kind of know what we have in Stetson Bennett. I think he's kind of going to be what he is, and that's not a bad quarterback. He's not a championship-winning quarterback, but if he continues to improve and they can throw the ball around like that on a weekly basis, Georgia's going to be right back in that national title conversation.
How disastrous was the first weekend in September for the Pac-12 when we start talking about playoff decisions in December? I mean, did they just about play themselves out of it with what happened in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the Swamp?
You know, USC is kind of still that ace in the hole that they would hope as a conference can represent them, obviously, when it comes to the whole college football playoff conversation. But, yeah, it's going to be tough because I think if you're betting on Utah, right, that one-loss Pac-12 champion, the one loss is going to be a Florida team, so they need Florida to look real good the rest of the way. Utah was, I think, who a lot of people kind of had put their hopes in when it comes to the playoff and the Pac-12 making it. But, I mean, in some respect, and this isn't really what you asked, but in some respect, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, that's incredible that one game makes such an impact. And so with the college football playoff expanding to 12, like the Pac-12 is probably going to get in every single year. And for a Utah team to lose to that Florida program like they did in the Swamp, I mean, I don't know that you really think they're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the country. So probably going down a rabbit hole, but all that to say, yeah, I don't know that we see a Pac-12 team in the playoff once again. I mean, it could happen, but they need some help.
I'm in the camp that Tennessee may score 70 points on one of these good Saturdays. How legitimate threats do you think they are to Georgia and win the SEC East possibly?
Yeah, I think we're still seeing what they have in terms of what happens when you take away a Cedric Tillman, or what happens when you take away Jabari Small. Do they have another playmaker, especially in the pass game? Can Brew McCoy step up and be that solid number 2 threat for them? That's something I'm going to watch really closely for them the duration of the season, because there's no doubt about it. The offense is extremely explosive. So many, pieces, but do they have that true number 2 that can be, hey, when you take away Cedric Tillman, we have this counter to where we can still fly high offensively. I think a lot of it really will be for Tennessee. Can they just catch Georgia on the right Saturday, right? I mean, is it sometimes in the game of college football, as y'all both well know, sometimes it's just your day. And if it's Tennessee's day, obviously all bets are off. But just from the makeup of that roster, I think Georgia made a pretty big statement this past weekend of just how tough they'll be to handle in the East.
He's J.D. PicKell, the Hard Count with J.D. PicKell on On3's YouTube channel each and every day. Your overall impressions from Ohio State and Notre Dame. I didn't get to watch a ton of that game. Score was a little lower than I anticipated. Ohio State gets the win. What were your takeaways from it?
I was just impressed by the way that Ohio State was able to win ugly, win kind of tough. And that had been the knock on them all offseason long was, tons of talent. You got Jack Smith and Jigba. You got a quarterback who's probably going to be up for the Heisman Trophy. But what happens when we just punch you in the mouth like Oregon did, like Michigan did? Can you answer to that? Can you win in different ways than just high-flying, potent offense? And credit to Notre Dame. They went into Columbus, and they did what I thought they had to do, and they landed that first punch. I mean, squarely on the Ohio State job. They took command of the game. They were up at half, and for what felt like the better part of 3 quarters, Notre Dame was kind of in the driver's seat. So for them to win a game gritty, for them to win without Jack Smith and Jigba in the lineup, you could tell it wasn't, their best game, but for them to now be able to look back on that game and have the confidence of, hey, even with a few holes in this raft, we can still get it done. I think it's going to do wonders for their confidence, and I think it just proves that Ohio State's kind of taken that next step, especially on the defensive side.
Obviously, not often your starting quarterback gets his car towed during a game, but for Quinn Ewers, do you give him any chance to upset Alabama?
Yeah, what's up with Texas parking? I mean, it's Jai Hall getting the boot, which maybe is user error. I mean, there's how many Aston Martins are there around Austin, Texas, here, the football complex? Maybe there's more than I'm imagining there are, but you've got to know it's Quinn Ewers' car, man. Let's be cautious there with our towing mid game. Do they have a chance? I don't think they're going to win the game. I think it'll be a really great litmus test because Alabama, they're the standard, right? In college football, over the last 15 years with Nick Saban calling the shots, they are the standard program. And for Steve Sarkisian, kind of being a Nick Saban disciple, and for Quinn Ewers having all this excitement around him, I think we'll get a good chance to see, okay, just how far off is Texas, because I think the gut reaction will be, oh my gosh, Alabama beat them by 28 points. Quinn Ewers is a bust. Steve Sarkisian see this hot in Texas. I mean, that should be the overreaction we all work to avoid, because Alabama just is so much further along in their development as a program. I mean, not to say they're a finished product, but they're a lot farther along than Texas at this point in time, with a new starting quarterback and a second-year head coach there in Austin. So all I have to say, are they going to win the game? I feel pretty confident saying no, but I'm really excited to see just how much trouble they're able to give Alabama.
JD, our audience knows that I don't make a habit of watching too much Alabama football. It doesn't bring me any joy to watch them beat teams by 40 points. So if you gave me an SEC team, a SEC game to watch this weekend, it would not be Alabama-Texas for me. It would be Kentucky and Florida down in the swamp. I think the indication, if you were at SEC Media Days, was that Kentucky was probably going to go down there and beat them. Now you turn around and Florida's a 5-point favorite thanks to what we saw against Utah. What do you make of the Kentucky-Florida game in Gainesville this weekend?
There's two real crucial variables I'm watching for this game. And the first is, can Florida find a way to generate offense if they don't have their fastball and Anthony Richardson? Because that was kind of the deal last week was, hey, pretty tightly contested game. Utah's really talented. Florida just has Anthony Richardson. And that's sort of the end of the day. If they find a way to kind of minimize Anthony Richardson, can Florida do something else in the pass game with Ricky Pearsall? Can one of those backs get going? Do they have something else besides their fastball, and Kentucky force them to use that? That's what I'm watching. In addition to that, this defensive line for Florida, especially on the edges, is just frightening. And I think the stat was Kentucky and Will Levis was pressured on like 45% of dropback last week against Miami of Ohio. No knock on Miami of Ohio, but Florida is going to be a very different level of talent. And so I'm a little bit concerned about Kentucky's ability to be able to run the offense. I mean, in addition to that, they only had 50 yards rushing on the day last week. So all that to say, I think Florida wins this game. I think they win pretty comfortably, also with it being at home. Kentucky is just a little bit further behind than I think a lot of us expected based on week one.
He's on Twitter at JD PicKell, PICKELL, joining us every single Wednesday at 1:15. Thanks, JD. Enjoy the football this weekend.
Appreciate y'all. Happy college football season.
It is here. You can find JD on YouTube, the On3 channel with the hard count each and every day. Does a great job. Excited to have him throughout the duration of the college football season. All right, when we come back, a little offensive line talk for LSU. I think we all think it was a bit of an issue over the weekend. Brian Kelly was asked about it today. We'll go through his answer and kind of our thoughts on where to go from here. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal. They are elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every month here on Hunt and Hill, all month long, all September long. We're telling you about Metamore.
Yeah, Metamore, an institute dedicated to the study and treatment of metabolic disease and obesity, has been celebrated by the LWCC as a champion of Louisiana. They're located in Baton Rouge on the campus of the Pinnakin Biomedical. Metamore is a one-of-a-one-kind facility joining science, clinical research, and a variety of treatment modalities under a single roof to create a world-class institute.
We talk about the work they do here in Louisiana. They saw more than 6,200 patients in 2021 dealing with things like obesity. They're also helping people around the world at this point. So it is a vast, vast reach that Metamore has, and we're so proud to have them here in our great state and right here in our great city of Baton Rouge. Their work stands to spur economic activity in the life science sector here in Baton Rouge and improve health across the globe. Metamore, this month's champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I think everything is up for evaluation. It's, certainly early in the season, and we're still, trying to put what we consider the best combinations out there. And so, I wouldn't say that, we're at a point where we feel like, all 22 positions are, etched in stone. And there are still competitive battles for positions, and in particular, I think the offensive line is one where we're going to continue to evaluate as we go from week to week.
That's Brian Kelly this morning on the SEC Media Teleconference talking about the offensive line specifically, as he basically said, look, the offensive line is up for competition just like every other spot is up for competition. The line that we saw on Sunday night was Will Campbell, Miles Frazier, Garrett Dellinger, Anthony Bradford, and Cam Wire. We didn't see rotation, guys coming in and out, no significant injuries. That's the group that they decided on entering the game, and that's the group that they went with in the game. I don't think anybody thinks the offensive line was great. You can certainly hear discussions as to what degree those struggles were. Some people say they didn't block anybody the whole night. Some people said they did okay in some instances, and there were some happy feet. That's not really the point of this exact conversation. The point is, okay, you understand that it's not going to be an elite part of your team, a true strength of your team at this point in the calendar. So how do you help them? How do you help this offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways. I think obviously we talked about the tempo earlier, keeping the defense kind of worn down a little bit. I think also, getting Jayden on the edge. I think that's something that I think you're going to see. I thought Florida State did creative ways rather than just naturally just rolling out. They were doing some misdirection stuff to get the defense going one way and rolling the quarterback the other way. So I think there's a bunch of different things. Obviously, they would love to get a run game. I think that's every offensive lineman's dream, is to be able to just fire off the ball and get going that way. So I think they're going to mix and match some things. I think the right tackle position is probably the one, and obviously center too. Two concerns. You definitely don't want to be having any more snap issues going for it, and I think the right tackle, I think they can move around some stuff there. So there's some little things they can do. It's just so early on in the season. I think everyone's still kind of learning this roster, learning this staff, and the coaches are still trying to find ways to what gives the players the best situations to make plays.
I really try to stay in my depth on X's and O's, so I'm not going to try to go too far into that. But it was obvious, even to the novice like me, in the first half of the game, Florida State was moving Jordan Travis around, and LSU was not moving Jaden Daniels very much. That much was obvious, and I think you can put a little bit more of that in. I don't know how well Jaden Daniels throws on the move. I think what you hear is that if you move the quarterback and kind of cut that field in half, makes your progressions and your reads a little bit easier. And for Jaden, he's capable of taking off and running if there's nothing quite there, and he can make guys miss. He's not just straight line fast. He's got that shiftiness and ability. So that's something I think they've got to do to help the offensive line as well. So as far as options go, you're talking about right tackle. We know that Anthony Bradford has worked at right tackle. We know that they can put Tremont Shorts in there at right guard. We know that they think a lot of Emory Jones at this point. So my point to open the show, I'm not suggesting that you just give up on the year and just try to develop. So I'm not saying, hey, just put Emory Jones in there. He sounds good. He'll be good in 3 years. That's not where I am. That's not the point. It's a different conversation than it is that with Malik Neighbors at punt returner. So do you feel like Tremont Shorts, Emory Jones, Cardell Thomas, any of these guys may get an extended look, whether that's in practice this week or whether that's against Southern?
Yeah, I think they have to. I think at this point, especially kind of looking how they played in that first half, and a lot of times, not really having that confidence that you would have. It seemed like, a lot of similarities to last year where you got certain guys playing out of position, and when the bullets are flying at full speed, it's really, really difficult to try to develop and adjust on the fly. So I think they're going to continue to kind of give some guys some of their opportunities. Not sure if they love Cardell Thomas. I don't know how much he's going to be playing, but I definitely want to see Emory Jones. That's a guy that I think can definitely come in here, whether at tech guard or at tackle. That I want to see what they can have. It's not like you got All-American sitting at right tackle and you wouldn't dare take that guy out of the game. I think, there's reps to be had, and I think Emory's a guy that I want to see, what he can do if he gets those opportunities.
You look at the running game, Noah Kane, 7 carries for 23 yards. That's 3.3 yards per carry. Armani Goodwin, 5 carries, 15 yards, right at 3 yards per carry. They couldn't get anything going with the running backs. All right, how do we do that? What is when you look at the personnel they have, which is Armani Goodwin, who's a shiftier, shorter back. You got Noah Kane, who's a bigger, more physical downhill back, and you've got John Emery, who probably has a little bit more of a hybrid skill set than the other two. Once he returns, what should the running game look like when you understand what the personnel is in the backfield and what the personnel is on the offensive line?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a delicate dance, I think, because, when you start the season the way you do, I think the run game is going to be something that they're going to have to figure out, because now without that being said, you're going to have to figure out, okay, how we're going to pick the tight ends in this offense, because that's something that those guys probably don't do well either with the offensive line. And then you're going to have to figure out, okay, we don't have a guy that really blocks well at the right tackle, but we got a couple guys that can run block a little bit. There's no really full balance thing. So I think, as you go, whether it's with the play calling or with the personnel, you're going to have to find, different little things that you can do to try to make this offense in more rhythm and make things easier, because that's the biggest thing I kind of watched, especially in that first half. Everything just looked so hard. Every third down looked like, man, it's going to be tough for us to get this. And it seemed like Jaden was just, not comfortable back there. So they're going to have to find some things. I think Southern will be a great opportunity to do that, give some different guys some opportunities to mix and match and do some things and try to get some confidence, because it's going to be a big step up in competition after this week.
If you just look at the stat sheet and you go, oh, man, LSU ran it 30 times, 4.5 yards per carry, ran for 139 yards, like that's pretty good running. And then you dive back deeper into it and you look at, oh, well, if you just count the running backs, LSU ran it 13 times for 39 yards. I mean, that's what the running backs gave you. That's just making it too difficult. And I realize that the strength of this offense is in the wide receiver game, and that you do have a quarterback who is going to account for a significant amount of your rushing yards. So just boiling it down to the running back is a little bit disingenuous, but it does help to illustrate a point that they didn't establish any sort of consistent run game. It was just a tuck and run type deal that is not going to be there every single weekend. So, I think the tempo could help you out in the run game a little bit. And maybe you decide to go real quick on second down, and if you don't pick it up, you kind of slow things down and maybe survey and give your defense a chance to rest and try to be efficient and pick things up on third down with a good play call, as opposed to just going 100 miles an hour all the time, which is what Tennessee's going to do and what Chip Kelly's going to do at Oregon and some of that. Here's the deal. They don't have the offensive line and the backs to become a dominant running team in this season. But that doesn't mean you can't be creative and strategic with your tempo and when you push what buttons. They're just going to have to coach it really well.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think last year, especially how we started the season, I thought there would be no way on God's green earth that we would have a 1,000-yard rusher, better yet, have one of the all-time rushing performers in one particular game last year. So any given week, any particular game plan, you're going against a particular team, they can scheme it up. And I think getting Emory back into this backfield, I didn't think, it would be as big of a deal going into the season. But, as we kind of saw things go on through camp, we're like, wait, where is Emory? Where is he at? I think they definitely need that guy back. Just looking at the running back room and looking at the guys that they have, I think he's going to be a huge role in getting this, running game just at least respectable. You don't have to go out there and rush for 200 on everyone, but just at least have a run game that you can kind of put some guys to kind of put some attention to, and it'll open up, Jaden's legs and also open up some more play action stuff. So we'll see kind of how this thing progresses out.
I'd love to see the screen game become a nice piece to what they do. I think that makes things easier on the offensive line. You've got to do it right, but you kind of let some guys go. You get out in space and you allow them to just kind of move as opposed to backing up. And I think you've got some guys that can do it. I'd love to see Armani Goodwin get out in space from the screen game and hide behind those offensive linemen running in front of him and make some guys miss. I think John Emery can do that too, and I think Noah Cain's got a spot to do that as well. So it's just going to have to be a little bit more creative maybe than it was. And so this will be a theme. I mean, you're going to hear me say this 50 times next week, but we'll learn a lot against Mississippi State about what that offense is. Yeah. Game one, you get behind. There's a lot of things going on, maybe some prevent, a little bit of tempo. I don't know. We don't know. And we certainly won't learn it against Southern, but against Mississippi State, if they run tempo and are able to get the ground game going a little bit and they get Booty involved a little bit more and they go out there and they score 34 points, you'll look it up and go, okay, they didn't maybe know exactly what they were and going into Florida State, and that's okay. It's part of this whole deal. But if they go out there and they can't run it again, and then we look up in the fourth quarter and it's 21-10, you're losing again, and you're like, okay, they got issues. It's just we don't know yet. Or at least I don't know yet.
No, I think you definitely don't. I think for them, Florida State kind of getting that week 0 game to kind of knock their kinks out and kind of figure out kind of the stuff that they want to do. I think LSU, especially when you're getting a full new coaching staff, all new playbook, everything's so new, you kind of just have to get thrown out there in the fire and kind of work the kinks out as you go. And I think, you pointed it out, the way they finished, those last 3 drives of the game, I think that could possibly give this team a world of confidence that, hey, we didn't start out the best way, but as we kind of figure things out and figure kind of what we need to do to get this offense going, let's kind of build off of that. And if they can do that as the season goes on, the offense can definitely be a lot better than kind of what we saw most of that Florida State game.
I want to remind you to check out dropbiscuit.com. Browse our growing library. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to Pops, Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, or whatever Southern flavored audio biscuit you fancy. That's dropbiscuit.com. We're going to take a time out. When we come back to close out hour number 1, I'm going to tell a personal story that I have never told on the air. It's relevant to what went on yesterday, which I think has just been massively overblown. But I do have some thoughts on it, and I want to get to that next on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
The start of the NFL season is here, and the best place to practice your touchdown dance is on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel is kicking off week 1 with a no-sweat bet for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a new customer or already have an account. You'll get free bets if you don't win, and just log in and see for yourself.
Log in, see for yourself. NFL lines are up on FanDuel. Let's see. What are the Hoodats looking at for a line? Hoodats 5.5-point choice over there in Atlanta. Over-under is 42.5. You want to get in on some of that action, check out the FanDuel Sportsbook. Go to the NFL tab. It could not be easier. The best part, when you win, you get paid fast. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online, I don't have that disclaimer, so you're going to have to just go to break. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out neworleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. Former Saint Lance Moore will join us, and Russ Mitchell stops by. Can't wait for that. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The internet is it's a pretty tough place sometimes. You got to realize, take it for what it is. There are always going to be people on the internet that are going to make an effort to send people messages that are meant to demean or just be unpleasant or mean or combative when it doesn't accomplish anything. And there are always going to be people on the media side of things that are going to take things, twist them, editorialize them, exaggerate them to get people to click on things because that's the line of work that they're in. Yeah. And that's what happened yesterday. It's just been a massively blown out of proportion story what happened in the press conference between Brian Kelly and the Advocates' Leah Vann. If you were under a rock and haven't seen it, Brian Kelly started his press conference early. Leah walked in after he had begun speaking, even though it was before the scheduled press conference time, and Brian Kelly said, you're late, you owe $10 to the kitty, we'll throw a big rager at my house after. And Leah came back and said, maybe if you win, I'll be on time. And if you saw this in just a dry transcript with no context and no information surrounding it, you would go, that is really a bad thing to say. But that's not necessarily the entire story. In fact, it's not the entire story. And there are a lot of times I get on this microphone and say, look, I don't know either way. I can see this side. I can see that side. On this issue, there is only one side. There is only one story. Brian Kelly came in and made a little bit of a joke, as he has done with the media a bunch of times. Sometimes they're dad jokes and they're not super funny, but he likes to try to lighten the mood a little bit at the microphone. He's done that many times. Leah was a little bit caught off guard with being called out for walking in late and immediately thought in her mind, okay, I need to retort here and come back. And the first thing that came out was something that in that setting was inappropriate. She knew it, and she immediately apologized afterward. Brian Kelly, on the other hand, handled it beautifully. He smiled, said, yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with losing. I think, it's just a matter of just being on time. And Leah knew she had made a little bit of a mistake there. It was not malicious at all. It was an attempt to make a little bit of a joke, and it was one that probably should not have been made. But Brian Kelly handled it great. And Leah will move on from it, and everybody decides the New York Post is writing that it's someone firing at Brian Kelly from the media, and Barstool's talking about this shots fired. But that was not the intent at all. Now, if you go to Nebraska and Scott Frost is losing every game he's played and being unpleasant, and somebody says something like that, may be the story. In this case, it was not. It's not even debatable. It was a mistimed, inappropriate joke. This happened to me last year. I've never told this story. And I was in the wrong, but it was the exact same situation. I was at practice. I was allowed to stay a little bit later as a member of the network. Ed Ogeron had done his show a couple of times, his call-in show at TJ Ribs. I'm in the office every Wednesday interviewing an assistant. He's seen me before. I don't think he would have known what my name was, but he knew basically what I was. I worked for the network, and I'm around. He's working out the defensive lineman, and I'm standing 45 yards away from him. And he starts walking towards me, and I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm standing by myself being silent. They're 1-2. They're 2-1 on the season. They lost to UCLA and won a couple of non-conference games. Mississippi State was that weekend. He starts walking to me, and when he gets to about 30 feet in front of me, I can tell he's coming to me, which he has never done. He's got a pretty angry look on his face, and he's coming at me, and I don't know what's going on. He comes over and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Hey, coach," put a big smile on my face, said, "Ready for Starkville?" And he goes, "What are you doing?" And at this point, I have no idea what he's talking about. What am I? I'm just standing here in my head is what I'm thinking. And so I just said, Jeremy and I just started a show. We're on noon to 2. And I'm scrambling here thinking, what is he thinking about? And I said, it's a little bit more fun when y'all win. Absolutely inappropriate thing for me to say. I was 100% wrong to say that. I panicked, and it came out. It's the same thing that happened to Leah yesterday. And Ed Ogeron got upset. He said, "You're a guest at my practice. I don't need any smart-ass comments from you." So, and I said, "Coach, I apologize. I was texting he goes, "What are you doing on your phone?" And I said, "I'm texting my wife the grocery list." And he said, "There's no phones at my practice. You're a guest here." I said, "Coach, I apologize. It won't happen again." And I just left practice because I didn't need that. But I was wrong to say that. And Leah was wrong to say, "If you win, I'll be on time." But there was no malicious intent with either one. We were just caught off guard with an interaction, and it just came out. And the issue that I bring this whole thing full circle for is that Coach O kind of blasted me for it. Now, it was in private, and it didn't matter, because he was under a little bit of heat at that point. They lost to UCLA. Things were not great after a 500 season. I thought Brian Kelly saying, "Well, it didn't have anything to do with losing," he just brushed it completely off, accepted her apology, and moved forward. That, to me, is a guy who's comfortable here, as he should be, because he's got a massive contract and he's coached one game, as opposed to a guy who was, uncomfortable because things were not going great. That's the whole story.
Look, I'm going to go back to the early 2000s here and take a quote from the great movie Mean Girls. And I think the internet, they're trying to make fetch happen with this whole thing. And it's just nothing there. We got to relax, people. This is just a casual joke from Coach Kelly. And Leah, she got put on the spot, man. She got put on the spotlight a little bit there. But I think, after that game, it's just never cool right now in Baton Rouge when you lose a game like that to Florida State. So it's kind of just weird in that presser, in that situation. But just way overblown. I can't believe it made First Take today. We're going
ridiculous.
We're going
There's
national
no
news
story
with this whole thing. I guess, man, during the week, you got to have something to talk about. They're going to blow this thing out of proportion. But, yeah, this is something we probably forget next week.
Yes, for sure. But, look, again, the point I bring that whole story up is that Brian Kelly, I thought, handled it really well, and he continues to kind of say all the right things. I think he knows that he's on the ground floor here, and he understands that this is not an 11-win football team and that they're just going to have to take some lumps. And, honestly, that lowers the tension level a little bit. You got to go out there and recruit like crazy. You got to coach these guys like crazy, and you're going to have to work really hard to stay in games and win some games in conference play. That's just a different attitude than if we lose, the whole dream is dead, which is what happens if you're a great football team and you lose. I mean, in this sport, all your dreams can be gone, and it's just not the situation around here, and we're so used to that. So, again, I just wanted to kind of bring a personal antidote to that story and say, we're going to bury it here. There was nothing to it. It was just one little comment. Brian Kelly handled it fine. And the fact that SEC Network wants to talk about it and Barstool wants to talk about it and the New York Post is writing about it, First Take is on it, the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. And it's just the sad state of what journalism and clicks have become. It's just you got to get more. Hour 2's coming at you. We'll do our SEC Power Rankings a little bit later. We got some take it or leave it as well. And LSU's basketball schedule is out. Did a little bit of digging. We know what Will Wade was doing with his schedule. We'll see what Matt McMahon is doing with his, as that was announced a little bit earlier today. If you missed any of the first hour, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all that. Come back with us. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Zach Wilson will not be under center for the Jets season opener Sunday. He's out at least the first 3 games of the NFL season as he continues to recover from knee surgery. Joe Flacco gets the call in his absence, starting with Sunday's season opener. The Bills begin the 2022 season as the outright betting Super Bowl favorite for the first time in 31 years, plus 600 at Caesars Sportsbook. The next best odds belong to the Buccaneers. Never a mistake to bet on Tom Brady winning another ring, believes ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
They're going to get better. They're going to get back Ryan Jensen at some point. They're going to get back Godwin, and I still think they're going to get back Gronk. So I think this team has a good foundation, and when it's all said and done, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady. And, you know, as you point out many times on Get Up Greeny, he led the NFL in passing last year.
Mike Tannenbaum on Greeny. Baseball Mets co-ace Max Scherzer's been placed on the injured list with irritation in his left side. Manager Buck Showalter says the team expects him to miss only 1 or 2 starts. Meantime, in Game 1 of today's doubleheader in Pittsburgh, the Mets have a 5-1 lead on the Pirates in the top of the 9th.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field, hour 2 here, Hunt and Hill on a Wednesday. Hope your week is getting along just fine. Short week for a lot of folks out there with Memorial Day, Labor Day holiday. Hope your Wednesday is going well. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Hunt and Hill. LSU basketball released its schedule for the upcoming season. It'll be the first year for Coach Matt McMahon as the pilot of the program. And I've kind of started diving in, going, okay, what do I need to think about all of this? And so we knew in the Will Wade era that he was going to load his schedule with a lot of mid-major teams that returned a lot of players from teams that won a lot of games. And he was going to end up playing a bunch of 21, 22 win teams from mid-major schools, and that net ranking was going to look real nice when they got done with them. When they got done beating Ohio and Belmont and Sam Houston or whoever it may have been in a given year, he was always going to do that. He had an analytics guy out west who was going to crunch those numbers, talk about returning production, and he was going to spit out a team that was going to win a ton of games. I haven't heard Matt McMahon say anything about that, and I think his time here in Baton Rouge, the scheduling model may change just a little bit. And this non-conference schedule is pretty light. They're going to open the season with Kansas City, the Kangaroos, I might add. I didn't know that until I looked it up today. Arkansas State, UNO, then they'll go to the Caymans, play Illinois State. They're got a couple more games there. They got Wofford, Texas Arlington. They'll go to Atlanta for that holiday Hoopsgiving that's got a bunch of games over there in Atlanta. They'll play Wake Forest and State Farm Arena for that one. Then North Carolina Central, Winthrop, East Tennessee State before you get to conference play. So very little in the way of big names there. Wake Forest is the only Power 5 team on the schedule. Winthrop was 23-9 last year and the big lost in the Big South Conference Championship game. They've got 4 of their top 7 guys back, so that figures to be a decent team. East Tennessee State was 15-17 last year, but they did beat Georgia and Murray State incidentally. So they beat Coach McMahon last year. Wofford was 19-13. They beat Georgia, sensing a theme here. A lot of people were beating Georgia. They've only got 2 of their top 7 guys back. Kansas City won 19 games, but it is a super light non-conference schedule to start with Coach McMahon, and honestly, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think anytime, you're changing a whole new coaching staff, obviously there's a lot of new guys on this roster, a lot of guys not from Power 5 schools. So I think the exact opposite approach of what we just watched with LSU football, kind of ease into things, kind of you get going with, the system that Coach McMahon wants to run and, kind of see what you got to present. I think to me, I just can't go without saying that. I want to know what's going to happen in the postseason. I just want to know. I think, at some point you would love to figure that out. But, without knowing that, I think, going into the SEC play, I think you got a nice landing strip there to kind of stack up some wins to get some confidence going and kind of figure out what type of rotations and what you want to be doing as a basketball team.
They better win a lot of games in November and December because January is going to stink. This is such a front-loaded SEC schedule. It was pretty front-loaded last year. You went to Auburn for the first game, for example. This is absolutely brutal. You open the SEC slate with Arkansas at home. Arkansas is in some preseason top 5s. Your second conference game is at Kentucky. Then you go to Texas A&M, who got hot last year, got to the SEC tournament final, and was the first team left out of the NCAA tournament. Remember, Buzz Williams started crying in a press conference going to the NIT. So that's your third game at A&M. Then you're home for Florida. Little bit of a rebuild, new coach there, not necessarily a Billy Donovan type team here in Florida, but still, home game against Florida could be tough. At Bama, Nate Oates is going to have a good team. Auburn comes to Baton Rouge. They've got 3 5-stars coming in, 2 of which should have been on your team. Then you play Tennessee at home. Barnes has got a bunch of guys back from that team. Then you're at Arkansas. You play Texas Tech in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. All of these teams are going to be picked in the top 6 or 7 of the SEC. It's not until you get into February where you get at Missouri, you play at Mississippi State, you play at Georgia, you play South Carolina. Vanderbilt, I don't think is going to be awesome. You're at Ole Miss, Missouri. Those are the bottom feeder teams in the league, we think. And there ain't none of them in the beginning of this SEC schedule. I'll run through it again. Arkansas, at Kentucky, at A&M, Florida, at Bama, Auburn, Tennessee, at Arkansas, Texas Tech, before you've gotten any sort of Mississippi State, Missouri, South Carolina, any of those teams that we don't think are going to be very good. They're all back in February. So January, welcome to the league, Coach McMahon.
Yeah, no, you're going to get broken into the SEC in quick fashion here in January, and you're going to find a lot about this basketball team. And I think last year, that team, we knew that team would fight. Obviously, you got some situations where, you kind of have maybe mismatched here. You may not have as much shooting or may not have much this or that, but you knew that team would fight. I think you're going to find that out quickly January. This is a gauntlet if I've ever seen one. And we talk about, just how talented the SEC, you get to play every talented team in the whole conference. So we'll see how Coach McMahon responds to it. I think if they can get through that, winning some of those games, I think you consider that a victory because you can make a case they could possibly, be on the other side of a lot of that.
The last 6 games in conference play are at Georgia, who's not going to be good, South Carolina at home, who's not going to be good, Vanderbilt at home, who's not great, at Ole Miss, who's not going to be great, home Missouri, at Florida. So you can make some hay there at the end. There's some very, very winnable games. And I think LSU is going to be a middle-of-the-pack SEC team, so I think they'll win some of the games there in January as well. I'm not suggesting they're going to start 0-9 or whatever it might be, but it is just so front-loaded. You'd like them to just toss you one home Missouri game up there at the front of the league. It's just Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Auburn. It's just like it's a gauntlet, and that's something that I think Matt McMahon will probably talk about a lot early on. I'm curious to see kind of what he's like dealing with the media. We got a pretty good sense for Will Wade. He was going to pretty much tell it like it was, and so I'll see. But I think it's going to be a lot of, that's what you sign up for, and that's why I came here. Why these guys transferred in here to play in the SEC. But it's going to be some fairly tough sledding in the early going. But hopefully they come out of it, with their head above water, and they can win some of those games late and maybe play some games that matter. But as you said, we don't know if any of them matter at this point.
You have any earthly idea, what matters, and it would, to me, it would blow your mind if somehow they go out over 500 in January and set themselves up to have a big time February and go an SEC tournament, feeling great, and then probably can't play in the postseason. So we'll see how it plays out, man.
I got a wild hair earlier, and I was like, "What is it? I wonder if I can get to Atlanta for that holiday hoopsgiving deal LSU's playing LSU's playing Wake Forest, but I think there are 5 games. Let me just look it up. But I was looking at flights from from New Orleans. I could get there round trip for $150 if you're looking to watch some hoops. Here are the matchups for the college match. So there's a high school version of it and there's a college version of it. College version of it, you got Auburn's playing Memphis. You got Georgia Notre Dame, Tulane Buffalo, and then LSU Wake Forest. But if you catch LSU Wake Forest and Auburn Memphis, Penny Hardaway's crew, $150 round trip flight. I can look into that. You never know.
No, that's not a bad trip right there. Catch some college hoops, get some booze in you, man. Yeah, I got.
Have a dinner, have a night at the hotel. Come on back. That's it's in the question. I was thinking about flying out on Saturday morning, so we'll see. I haven't run that by my wife yet, which would probably be a little bit of an issue, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. That's just a quick detour in the middle of the week here. Got Southern coming up on Saturday. I'm not going to dive into the matchups quite early enough. We got our LSU basketball schedule, and so we wanted to run through that briefly. We'll come back, start talking a little bit more football. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Still storm season. Reliable Roofing and Construction, your one-stop shop for your roofing needs. They can do inspections, they can do replacements, they can do repairs, all of that right there at Reliable Roofing. Check them out on Instagram at Reliable Roofing LLC, or go to the website reliableroofingbr.com.
Yeah, so I'm happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Lionel, born and raised in Baton Rouge, he's the owner. He's going to visit every site that his crews go to work on, so you can be promised that the owner of the company is going to visit your home when they're working on it. It's not some company that's flown in here to try to make a quick buck off a hurricane and get out of Dodge. You never see them again. They've been in Baton Rouge for a long time, and the ownership group has been here forever. So Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check out the website. You can get a bunch of pictures, request a quote, contact them. It's reliableroofingbr.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Tom, presented by Bet Rivers. Wednesday, we're live from City Slice Pints and Pizza on Chime Street, just outside the north gates of LSU. Game time, 6 to 8 p.m., presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, it's about that time. Revisit a segment that we started up last year. SEC Power Rankings. We will go 1 to 14 or 14 to 1. What do you think?
I think you kind of know who's going to be. Yeah, let's go to the top. Start at the top.
We'll start at the top.
Yeah, we'll start at the top.
I will give you my top 4, and then we'll go to yours. Look, I know how good Georgia looked in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday. I still believe with the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, and I believe better defensive players, that Bama is the best team in the league. I have them 1 and Georgia 2. That's where it starts to get a little bit interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to regret this, but I just feel it right now. It's going to be proven incorrect. It's borderline reckless, but I've got Tennessee 3rd.
Okay.
I just love their quarterback. I think they're going to be hard to defend. And I think they'll find a way with some athletes to play enough defense. Will it look great against Georgia? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Will it look great against South Carolina, Missouri, and Vanderbilt, and maybe even Kentucky? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take Tennessee right now at 3rd. Okay. And then my number 4 team just looks complete. Solid effort on Saturday. I think a quarterback is not going to make too many mistakes, and a defense that's in the right spot. I'll take Arkansas at number 4. So I got Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Arkansas 1 through 4.
Okay, all right. I got a little shuffle up on mine. I think my 1 and 2. Of course, I got Alabama 1. They're not missing a beat at all, and I got Georgia. To me, you couldn't play a more perfect football game than what they played against Oregon. I think going into that game, you thought Oregon would have slightly, just a little bit more resistance, but that was just utter domination. But I think my boy Charles Hanniger's going to love my number 3 team. I'm pushing Napier here. I got Florida up at 3. To me, they had the most impressive win, and to me, they have the most dynamic player. That was my biggest question mark going to that team, going to the season. Could AR-15 be that guy? And to me, he fits that bill. And anytime you have a guy like that every Saturday, it's hard to defeat those guys and let those guys walk off the field with defeat. So I got pushing Napier at 3. And then for 4, I got Arkansas. To me, they're probably the most complete team outside of Georgia and Alabama, especially looking at that quarterback, man. KJ's that dude's a load. They don't mind putting him in the quarterback run game, especially in that red zone. That's just going to be tough to deal with. And I trust him not turning the ball over. He's done a phenomenal job of that. So I got, Alabama 1, Georgia 2. Got pushing Napier at 3. Then I got Arkansas at 4.
All right, I'm right there with you on Florida. I got them at 5. Really impressive the way that they played defense in that game. They were able to stand up to the physicality of Utah, which Oregon couldn't last year, and they had a pretty solid team. So, yeah, Richardson looked to be the playmaker that we fear a little bit. So I got them at 5. I've got Kentucky at 6. It wasn't great, but I trust Stoops to do a pretty good job with them defensively. And I think if given some time, which he did not have a lot of on Saturday, Will Levis will make some plays. Plus, got to get your running back in Chris Rodriguez. That will happen. So I got Kentucky at 6. We made fun of A&M with their quarterback play on Monday, and it was warranted. Haynes King did not look good at all. Mm-hmm. Their defense did, and you were facing a team in Sam Houston that's pretty creative on offense and scores a ton of points in the FCS, and they couldn't do anything. No big plays, no busted assignments. The defense looked pretty good, and I thought that was impressive by DJ Durkin. So, look, we'll find out more about them this week against Appalachian State, a team that can score a lot. And then certainly when they get into the real duels with Miami and Arkansas and whatnot. But I got A&M at 7, and then I got Ole Miss at 8. Not an impressive effort, but just going to trust the coach there to score some more points. It was not good. And they're going to go to Altmaier here this week and see what that looks like. I don't think it'll be great, but I got Ole Miss at 8. So Florida 5, Kentucky 6, A&M 7, Ole Miss 8.
Okay, I'm not too mad at that one. All right, so to me, I got 5. I got Tennessee. I think for me that offense, they're going to score points, and I think as the more you look at it, they do a great job simplifying things for Hendon Hooker. He's reading one side of the field most of the time. He's able to rip the ball in there into tight coverage, and to me, they got weapons on the outside, and so to me, I got Tennessee up at 5. To me, 6. I'm gonna start believing in these weird combinations of coffee and mayo and all these things going on. So I'm gonna pump a little Will Levis here. I got Kentucky at 6. To me, that was not impressive to start off the season. I think their offense would have loved to have been a little more dynamic, but to me, they're missing their best player, and that's their running back in Rodriguez. So when they get him back, I think that's gonna uplift their team a ton. So I got them at 6 and 7. I'm actually gonna go with Ole Miss here. I know that's probably not the greatest offensive performance that Lane would have seen, but I think Altmaier might give them that boost that they may need going forward. So I got Ole Miss there because I believe in Lane Kiffin, and then obviously 8. I'm going Mississippi State here. I think I like Rodgers at the quarterback position. Seeing a team missing, you probably think should be right here, but no, they're not there. So I'm going Mississippi State at 8. I like what they got at the quarterback position. I think Leach is going to be just one of those teams where any given Saturday they could put up a bunch of points on you and upset someone, but there's probably going to be some games along the way that they probably shouldn't lose. But I got Mississippi State at 8.
All right, so I've got at number 9, I've got Mississippi State. I think they've got some talent on defense, and then Rodgers, operates that offense very well. It's in his 3rd year doing it now. He understands it's a simple offense, and now he's got a doctorate in it, so he's going to be pretty functional for them each and every week. I've got Auburn at number 10. It was okay over the weekend. Nothing super awesome, and Finley's got to take care of the football. If you don't do that, they're not near talented enough for him to start making mistakes. But first game, we'll see. I got Auburn at 10. I've got LSU at 11. I still think they're better than some of the bottom feeders in this league as far as talent, and I think their coaching is going to make them better. Just a bad matchup, I think, with Florida State's defensive front, and it just didn't allow LSU to get very comfortable. But you're still an extra point away from being in overtime to win that game. So I got LSU at 11. I got South Carolina at 12, Missouri at 13, and Vanderbilt at 14.
Okay. All right, not too mad at that. To me, all right, so 9, I got South Carolina. I actually went South Carolina at 9. To me, that offense is going to go as Spencer Rattler goes, and I think for them, big-time special teams, that's something that us LSU fans would love to see, but that their special teams.
I don't even need big-time special teams, not atrocious special teams. Functional special teams.
Yeah, pulse, yeah. But, yeah, I think that, to me, that's going to be a big part of their game, and to me, at 10, I actually went with Auburn here. I went with Auburn. And TJ Fling and the crew, that passing game to me is going to be a huge.
Where the hell is A&M?
You're going to find out soon.
Clearly.
Yeah, I got Auburn right there. And then I'm going to go with LSU here after Auburn.
Oh, my God.
Going with my Tigers, going right here. I think for them, I love the rhythm that they got in that fourth quarter and in that third quarter. So got LSU there. And then I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I kind of want to put them, a little lower on the list.
What?
But, that I think to me, just everything I thought, going into the game, they're playing against Sam Houston State. Like, come on, they're playing Sam Houston State. I was not impressed by anything that I saw. I think all those issues are going to rear their ugly head.
You're super impressed with South Carolina and Auburn?
Look, great special teams, man. Look, great run game from Auburn.
Oh, no.
And then we're going to go with Vanderbilt last. So, yeah, I think A&M at 13. Yep.
Jeremy, why do you have A&M so high?
Look, man, I just don't think they're going to be very good this year. I'm going to tell y'all, look, when Haynes Schemes drops back against Alabama, when he drops back against Arkansas, I'm telling y'all what's going to happen. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just letting y'all know.
I would have put them last.
Well, I mean, I feel like a hippie now. Like, I was the one who didn't like A&M. I was the one that made that cool. Or I was doing it before it was cool. Now I got you people put them dead last in the league behind Vanderbilt. I mean, that's ridiculous. They just won a shutout game like 35-0. Haynes King threw like 360.
Yeah. They won 31-0. Let's not add any more points to Jimbo's offense, okay? We're not giving them anything here. They haven't won anything. They don't deserve anything. So I got to feel good about something. We just lost to FSU, so I got to give myself something to look forward to, and that's just watching the Aggies fall on their face. And it's going to happen. I'm telling you.
I feel as though I have created this monster of you and Hester just like ripping to shreds everything that A&M does positively, because I said, I don't like them. I'm pulling for them to fail, but they might be pretty good. Like, no, they're not. They're not good. Shut up. I just, it feels like a bit of an act or something. But they're better than that. I haven't said. So I'll run through my list one more time, and Jeremy will run through his ridiculous list. I had Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas in my top 4. Then Florida, Kentucky, A&M, and Ole Miss, 5 through 8. Mississippi State, Auburn, LSU, South Carolina, that is 9 through 12, and then Missouri and Vanderbilt bringing up the rear.
All right, I had Alabama, I had Georgia, and then I had who did I put? Florida. I put Florida at 3, then I had Arkansas at 4. 5, I had Tennessee. 6, Kentucky, and then I think 7 was Mississippi State. No, Ole Miss, and then 8 was Mississippi State, and then 9 I ended up going with South Carolina. 10 Auburn, 11 LSU. 12 Texas A&M, 13 Missouri, and then 14 Vanderbilt.
Missouri and Vanderbilt and A&M in the same breath. Look, I'm all for it, and I'm. If Appalachian State goes into College Station and wins, tune into the post-game show on the LSU Sports Radio Network because I will be. It might be all I talk about. I might just go all Mountaineer football as opposed to talking about the 56.
They got to get past Miami, man. Miami's not going to be a slouch. They got to get past.
They got App State first, then they got Miami. But App State, man, everybody's saying they scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. They need them to score some points on this A&M team.
Look, they need to take a big bite out of the Aggies, and I'm all for that. Let's go App State.
Justin Blanchard said Hunt's having a hard time keeping his lunch down. Look, it's I don't want LSU to be 11th in my power rankings either. That's not a whole lot of fun, but here we are. Last year, where'd you start LSU last year? Like 3rd?
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. I was pumping out of control. Yeah, they were somewhere in my top.
1 year on the microphone, and now you're just negative Nancy.
Look, man, I can't be out here looking like Stephen A. with this Knicks. He'll give the Cowboys every little thing they deserve, but when it comes to the Knicks, it's just blasphemous. So I can't become blasphemous with my Tigers. I got my purple and gold running through my veins. It's just, man, it's tough.
I gotta say, I think a lot of Stephen A. is a little bit much for me. Same with Skip Bayless. I can't handle. There's just a little bit much in the circus act of the whole thing. But when he starts talking about the Knicks, I laugh. Like that is entertaining. It is funny when he starts going off the rails on the Knicks, because it doesn't feel as contrived as like the Cowboys hatred thing or whatever that they come up with Skip says LeBron stinks and says that Aaron Rodgers is no good and the Cowboys are awesome and like all this stuff is like contrived and made up. But Stephen A. like legitimately hates the fact that the Knicks are terrible. So that like brings out some validity to the argument, and I think it's funny.
No, it's hilarious, and I think the pain. I think everyone can relate with the pain that comes through Stephen A. says. I was laughing when they didn't get Donovan Mitchell. He was about to have an aneurysm in his car. Just wasn't having a good day when that didn't happen. So yeah, I think it's bad days for the Knicks had some more rants.
Let me ask you a ridiculous question. While we're talking about this, let's just toss this on the table. Is there any part of you that is concerned after having a bad 2020 and a bad 2021 and starting the year off with a loss against Florida State? Is there any party that goes, man, I hope we don't become Texas for a decade?
Look, I was saying,
man, I hope we don't become Miami for a decade.
I said that during the post game. I'm like, dude, y'all are arguing about all the wrong stuff. I'm just trying to make sure we don't become Nebraska here. Like, let's get the rails back on this thing. I know, things definitely couldn't have gotten out to a worse start, but that's on the table, man. If Arkansas was Arkansas, Ole Miss just didn't have a pulse, and like the SEC, I was like, okay, we can roll out of bed. We throw a couple recruiting classes together. We'll be A-okay. No, man, the SEC is not a joke. You got to bring your big boy pants every week. The recruiting's just asinine now. The transfer portal, it's just a different world. So, yes, we need to start winning games, get this thing back on the rails. It's on the table. So let's start winning.
We'll dismiss that thought there. All right, we'll come back. Half an hour left here. It's a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
The start of the NFL season is seeing the best place to practice your touchdown dan is on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel is kicking off week 1 with a no-sweat bet for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a new customer or already have an account. You'll get free bets if you don't win. Just log in and see for yourself.
It really is easy to use. You download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can go to the tabs for the specific sports. You want to bet college football, they got a tab for it. You want to bet Thursday night football, they got a whole tab for that with prop bets, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford props. They got your spread, money line, they got your over-under. It's all right there. And if you want to make a smaller bet and get a bigger payday, you can do it with that same game parlay. So make every moment more with the FanDuel Sportsbook. the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I have the disclaimer now. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable free bets. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
In the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye and Warren Easton kick off at 7, immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, so last year, Tennessee's best player, Henry Toto, transferred to Alabama. Did he get suspended 4 games for that?
No, he didn't.
Eli Ricks transferred to Alabama. Did he get suspended 4 games?
No, not at all.
Jameer Gibbs, he was at Georgia Tech. He's pretty good, and he transferred to Alabama. Did he get suspended for 4 games?
Not one single game.
No, Dwight McGlothern, he went from LSU to Arkansas. 4-game suspension.
Didn't he have a pick? I don't think he didn't get
He had a pick 6.
Yeah. No.
Max Johnson left, transferred to A&M. A&M's a pretty good school. Did he 4-game suspension?
No, I don't think so.
Everyone transfers all over the place. Every second of every day in college sports. And somehow LSU manages to get a guy suspended for 4 games. that's probably a little bit out of bounds because I don't know what happened. I don't know who looked at the transcripts. I don't know who made the exception. I don't know what the rule is. But for some reason, Joe Fouché is suspended for 4 games. Brian Kelly talked about that today on his teleconference.
Joe has been amazing. You know, it really has to do with some technical issues relative to, credit hours and transfer credit hours. And so it's really difficult for me to get into the specifics of it, but it's really unfortunate. Joe's done everything we've asked him to do, but sometimes in the transfer process, credit hours are earned and lost. And, he was put into a very, difficult situation relative to gaining hours. So, yeah, we're in that process. Certainly, Joe's been great in everything that we've asked him to do, and we're hoping to get him back as soon as we can.
I just don't really get it. And that's the truth. Like, I can't blame someone or criticize anyone, or it just seems like such a common practice that guys are transferring and playing places, and somehow this gets tripped up. I don't. And then you couple it with John Emery last year, where he's practicing with the first team up until the week of the game, and then he's out for the year. Didn't meet the academic requirements. It's like, how? Who's in charge of this?
Yeah, the Fouché thing, to me, I would love to see what's going on with that situation. But to me, it would be simple. If you're at another Power 5 school, you're eligible to play throughout the season, you meet all the requirements, what would have changed from you going to another SEC Power 5 schools? Like, is it that big of a deal? Like, to me, if I'm making the grades all throughout the year and I transfer, like, why would I not be eligible simply because I'm at another school? I don't get where the credits come into factor to say, well, since these credits don't add up, you aren't going to be allowed to play football.
Well,
I don't get where they make that.
He went to Prime Prep, Dion's high school that Jordan Mickey went to, that got said, "Oh, well, this isn't a real school. You're out." Like, he's in Arkansas. Like, what do we do here? What classes did he take at Arkansas that can't transfer over? Is there some kind of major at Arkansas that doesn't exist here, so it can't count towards?
My thing is, even let's say the credits don't count. My thing is, okay, just put him in a class here, whatever. They don't count, whatever. But why is that making him ineligible? Like,
why is it for 4 games? If he's not just totally ineligible because he doesn't. I mean, Emery's missed 15 games.
Look,
I just haven't seen that as much at Florida or Bama or Georgia.
I don't see it ever. I don't know, man. They got to figure it out. I guess the people in the compliance building, they're really working their heart out to make sure everything is done the right way. But I guess it's going on at every other school. It seems like, I guess it is the case. I don't know, man. This just seems to me academics is be the last thing a student athlete is missing time for at this day and age. You got every resource at your disposal. You got the college communication. You got every person you can talk to. I don't know, man. It's just crazy because I thought he'd be a person that could help in the secondary, but now it's another guy that's going to be missing from the defense.
And here's the deal. We went out there and John Emery was not working with the ones. And I came on the air and I was like, this is such a bummer, man. Like, this guy was the #1 running back in the country. It's his 3rd year in the program. We thought this could be a breakout year, and he's not even running with the first team. And then you hear, oh, well, he's going to miss the first 2 games. Like, okay, maybe they knew that. And we went out there and looked at Joe Fouché, and I was like, well, this guy's probably going to be a starting safety. And the way Major played on Saturday or Sunday, you kind of realized, okay, maybe he did get beat out, but maybe they knew this in advance that it wasn't going to be something that they needed to get some other guys reps because he wasn't going to be available for Florida State. Again, we're talking about stuff we don't know the specifics of. We just understand what the result is, and we're throwing our hands up.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where you are because I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to correlate why the credits would be such a big deal to take away someone's eligibility. To me, I just don't know how you make that. If I'm at a Power 5 school and I'm taking classes and passing those classes, I should be able to play the next season unless I fail. Now, if he had a 1.2 or something and flunked out every class, that'd be one thing. This seems, from everything we've heard, it seems like they just aren't accepting his credits for whatever reason. It's just a bummer, man, because that's a guy you could have used in the secondary.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get him after 4 games, and he'll make his way in. But we shall see. He's going to have to sit for a month of the season. LSU and Southern, which is a historic game on its face because these 2 teams have shared a city for decades and decades and decades and have never played on the football field, and they will. And the question was asked to Brian Kelly today, hey, if you're going to play these FCS games, which they didn't at Notre Dame, would you prefer to keep it in-state and in the city?
I do. I think that, if you're going to go that route, I would like to be able to help out the in-state institutions. We are the flagship university, and I just think that that's a good partnership for our state, recognition for schools that have done it the right way and continue to educate in the manner that we see as part of our mission as well. So all of that kind of aligns with what President Tate and Scott want to do, and I feel like that's the right course that we want to continue to take.
There are a lot of layers in scheduling football games. We talked about them last week when we were talking about LSU and Florida State in New Orleans and Orlando. There are some positives to that. There are some negatives to that. You talk about it from an entertainment perspective, it's off the charts. From a revenue perspective in terms of expenses versus the money that you get, it's awesome. In terms of the experience of playing on campuses, you take it away. There are layers to that. There are layers to this too. And from a purely entertainment and football perspective, this game on Sunday stinks. In terms of a financial investment from the season ticket holders who spend a lot of money to buy the tickets to these games, you're not going to get a great product on Saturday. Mm-hmm. However, there's another side to this that LSU's not going to lose. Mm-hmm. Some young players are going to play. You want to bring your 3-year-old, this is probably a better environment for them than it is to come to the Florida game at 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. And it helps fund Southern's athletic department with a check for over $700,000. Now, if you're listening to this as an LSU fan and you say, I don't care about that, you're not wrong. But it is a layer to this entire thing. Yeah. It's going to be a cool experience to see the Southern Band. It's going to be a great experience for a lot of people from Southern who are able to come across the city. Maybe they've never been inside Tiger Stadium before, to see their alma mater or their team or their family members that if they're on the team play on the SEC network in Tiger Stadium is an incredible thing. I think there are a lot of people in this city that think it's pretty cool that finally Southern's doing it. If you're on the other side of that, I totally get it, because it is not going to be an exciting second half of football.
Look, for those people, I would love to have a conversation with you, because if you just watch the team go 500 back-to-back seasons, you're looking at the SEC slate that you're about to play. I wouldn't mind getting some wins, that you can pencil in, especially in this day and age with LSU athletics. But I think, looking at the matchup with Southern, I think it's going to be great for the city. I think my dad actually graduated from Southern, so I never thought a day where those teams would actually be matching up. But it's going to be cool, man. I think the tailgating's going to be great. The bands are going to be great. So it'll be great for everyone in Baton Rouge to kind of, have this game that we never thought we would see. So I think for those reasons, it's pretty cool. And also, too, it's a win. And I think for this program, you got to get as many of those as you can.
I mean, to me, playing Southern is the same as playing North Texas, the same as playing Rice. It's a step down from your Troys or your Louisiana Techs or some of that. But, if you're going to beat somebody by 40 points and give them a check, you might as well do it to a school that really needs it, that's right here in the city. So from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But there are two sides to it. I totally get it. Just like there's two sides to people that hate the neutral site games and people that think they're really cool. I mean, I had a buddy of mine that went to the game on Sunday and said LSU should play in the Dome every year. It's really cool. I love going to lunch in the Quarter. I love seeing a bunch of people there. I like the Dome. And plus, he lives in New Orleans, so there's a little perk there. You don't have to drive home after the game. So there's a side to that. And then there's some people who say, this is ridiculous. I want the game in Tiger Stadium. I want the game in Doak Campbell Stadium against Florida State. Like, why are we going to Orlando next year? Nobody cares about that. I get it. There's two sides, but it's the same thing. Like I was saying at the end of the hour when I was talking about this press conference thing yesterday. Like, there is only one side to that argument. I won't even hear another one. On this side, I can hear multiple sides and multiple complaints and multiple things that I think are great. It's just a little different perspective for everybody. We'll come back, take it or leave it, wrap it up. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sometimes I like just pulling up the Bayou Ford website when I'm sitting at my desk and just kind of seeing what kind of new inventory they've got. They've got new Explorers. I'm always checking those out. That's what I've always driven. But your truck guy, truck girl, F-150, F-250 is there. Got the Expedition as well. The inventory is updated each and every day over there at BayouFord.com. If you see what you like, you can check out all the information, all the Carfax. You can call Ben Gagne, say we sent you over there, and get that process started. If you don't see what you like, just tell them what you like. They'll customize it, have that car turned around in 2 to 3 months, and you'll have it good as new.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline. That has the Ready Lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. All of them are getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
They got those Broncos that are awesome. The Bronco Sports, a little smaller version of the Broncos. Check out that inventory. Every new purchase you make at Bayou Ford comes with a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty. For the life of that vehicle, you will have that powertrain warranty attached to it. Inventories at BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to...
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You gonna have a Super Bowl pick ready for tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a Super Bowl pick ready. Definitely.
Up. Full NFL football tomorrow night. A couple of really good teams playing tomorrow night as well. So the NFL season is upon us tomorrow. We'll preview that, give you our Super Bowl picks tomorrow. We'll give you the best win and the worst loss on the board in the NFL and in college football. Luke Johnson will jump aboard at 1:30 to talk Saints. What's the latest on Michael Thomas? We'll talk about all that. So a lot of NFL talk on Thursday's show, and then we'll fire back into to LSU and Southern, likely more on Friday. Tomorrow, you'll have Brian Kelly press conference. You'll also have Brian Kelly's radio show, so some content tomorrow evening to get us into Friday as well. So that's a look at what we will see tomorrow. But for today, let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Alrighty here. Captain Davis Love III. He selected 6 captains picks for this upcoming President's Cup. Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, Cam Young, Max Homa, and Kevin Kisner. Team USA will roll the President's Cup. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking it.
I'll take
They are going to beat the international team by $1 billion because the whole international team took a bunch of money and went to go play at LIV. So now they got nothing. They got no Cam Smith. They got no Mark Leishman. They got no Abe Answer. They got no Joaquin Niemann. They got none of those guys. They got a bunch of they picked a guy on their team for the President's Cup that I've never heard of. I watch a lot of golf, and I've never heard of one of the players they picked for the President's Cup. They're going to be going against just an absolute freight train. It's going to be Justin Thomas versus some dude from Canada I never heard of, Mackenzie Hughes. It's going to be a bloodbath for the red, white, and blue. We like that very much. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett thinks Russell Wilson should get a standing ovation from the 12th man when he returns as a member of the Broncos on Monday night. 12th man standing for Russ. Take it or leave it.
I guess I'll take it, man. I think, most times when quarterbacks storm their way out, all James Harden-esque, normally those fan bases aren't too happy, but I haven't really felt that contention from the Seattle Seahawks fan base. Don't know why they aren't, but, I think they'll have a standing ovation. He did win a Super Bowl there, so I don't think Mr. Unlimited will probably be getting too many boos from the 12th man.
First of all, they won a Super Bowl, which is huge. It's like when the Cubs players came back after winning a World Series, they're just beloved no matter what, even though they turned down a bunch of extension chances. And Russell, they decided they were going to tear the thing down. They cut multiple Hall of Famers just out the door. So, you realize the organization was going a different way. Russell didn't want to be a part of that. I think you got to give him a standing out.
Yeah, I think they do. I don't think they're going to have too many boo birds for him. And I think for Seattle, they know that team probably isn't going to be too good. So it's like, all right, we're just wasting our energy kind of booing Russell here. All righty here. ESPN, they announced they will add Pat McAfee to the show starting this week in Austin. Taking or leaving, Pat McAfee?
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I'm all for game day trying some things. It's obviously becoming a new era. Lee Corso is at the end here. And they still put him up there a little bit, and he was a little bit better in person on Saturday than he was in his backyard with the delay in his ear, and he couldn't say anything or hear anything, and that was a disaster of a show for the opener. But last week was a little bit better. They're trying to spice it up a little bit. You got Kirk, you got Dez, and then you got Pollock doing what he's doing as well. McAfee just brings a little bit of a different dimension. He's going to give you a little bit rawer stuff. He's going to give you more energy. They may do some segment with the punting stuff, which is not something that no one else does. But if you follow him on Twitter, before he kind of hit it huge with FanDuel and doing all that kind of stuff, he's funny, and he's got some takes on special teams that no one seems to care about, but he makes them funny and entertaining. That's what he does. He's really good at it. So I'm going to take it. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for the older generation when he probably shows up in a cutoff sweatshirt and starts yelling and saying, "For the brand." That's not going to be the same as buttoned up at the set, commentary. That's not what Pat McAfee does, but I'm all for it. It's a 3-hour show. If he's going to bring me 30 minutes of original content that's funnier and new, I'll take it. Do you like McAfee?
No, I think he's amazing. I love that the swag that he brings. He's going to wear the same black, tank top every day, throw the hat on, and just crack jokes and have some fun.
He won't be wearing a suit and tie and sitting at the desk. I can promise you that.
No, not at all.
This is a guy who got married in shorts. So, and he wore a tie and jacket, but he just wore shorts. He only wears shorts, basically. He's an interesting character if you're not familiar. So check it out on Game Day coming up this weekend. Last one here. When asked about playing with LeBron and AD, Pat Bev said, "No, they play with me," saying that he made the playoffs last year and they didn't. The Lakers will make the playoffs because of Pat Bev. Take it or leave it.
Oh, man, dude, I got to leave this. But, dude, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but he was so serious. He looked at all the reporters in the face and he said, what? They didn't make the playoffs. I made the playoffs. Pat, whoa.
I made the playoffs. Pat
whoa, dude, you averaged 8 points and 4 assists last year. Let's calm down, buddy. But, hey, appreciate the Laker pride, man. I think you're trying your heart out. But Mr. Beverly, it's just not going to end well for you, man. I'm sorry to tell you. You got to calm down.
Is he going to do TV when he's done?
He has to. I think he has to at this point. And I think every time they have him on there, they know he's going to take every take to the 10th power and just
I
say the
can't
most
deal with
absolutely ridiculous thing ever, like him being the reason why the T-Wolves made the playoffs last year. And he's standing on the table. I remember they won a play-in game. He's standing on the table, taking his jersey off, like ripping people's beers out there. Like, Pat, relax, buddy.
He
Relax.
went on Get Up and basically said any analyst who suggests that a team not offer a max deal to any player is a hater and is telling somebody they shouldn't get money. It's like, no, there are some financial decisions that have to be made here, Pat. You can't just pay everyone the max deal. We have to try to put the best product out there. So maybe it's okay if an analyst says, maybe we could allocate some funds somewhere else as opposed to James Harden on a max deal.
Yeah, I think Pat Bells wants all the 38-year-old superstars to be making $60 million a season. But I think for the NBA franchises, I don't think they're going to be signing up to do that. But I think for me, it's just going to create a laughing stock for my Lakers this season. It's going to be something every week. We got Darvin Ham Thanksgiving. We got Westbrook. Now we got Pat Bev. It's going to get wacky, man. So get your boots ready.
Boots are ready, as they say. That'll do it for us here on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. We open things up with Brian Kelly's teleconference. JD PicKell from On3 Sports is going to join us each and every Wednesday, kind of talking about things from a national perspective. We appreciate JD for coming on. Gave our thoughts on the offensive line at 1:30, and I gave a personal story about myself and Ed Ogeron that was similar to Leah and Brian Kelly yesterday. So if you want to go check that out at the end of hour number 1, certainly can. LSU's basketball schedule at the top of hour number 2. Our SEC football power rankings. Jeremy thinks Texas A&M should go play in Conference USA, apparently. So you can go check that out at 2:15. We always finish things up with Take It or Leave It. If you missed any of the show, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you find your audio, you can find us. Search Hunt and Hill. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Hey, you buy for chat. Throw us a like. We'd really appreciate it. Jimmy Ott's Game Time is coming at you from 6 to 8. Coming up next, Matt Moscona is going to drive you home with After Further Review. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We are back tomorrow getting you ready for NFL football. Have a great Wednesday. Hunt and Hill.